I was told many things my first week as a chaplain intern at Bellevue Hospital. I was told to pay attention to the signs outside of each room in case I needed to put on gloves or a mask to enter. I was told not to give pencils or anything else that could be used as a weapon to the patients on the prison psych floor. I was told to use as much hand sanitizer as I could possibly stand. And I was told that it was not my job to fix people. The hand sanitizer soon became a habit, and the pencil prohibition was easy enough to stick to. But I don't think I fully understood those final instructions until the first time that I prayed at the bedside of someone who was dying. I don't remember the woman's name anymore, but let's call her Carol for the sake of this story. Carol had been on vacation in New York City with her family, a husband and 3 adult children. One evening, she had gone to the bathroom at a restaurant and had a heart attack while no one was around. By the time they found her, she was beyond saving. The family spent nearly a week at Carol's bedside in the cardiac intensive care unit as doctors ran various tests, keeping her alive with tubes and wires. One day I walked in and Carol's daughters were carefully washing and styling her hair. She always liked to look good, they told me. Another day they were playing her favorite songs, laughing and dancing through their pain. On the day that they found out that Carol was officially brain dead, they called me up to pray with them before they disconnected the various tubes and wires that were keeping her going. We joined hands around her bed, the air in the room thick with sorrow and love. It was an intensely sacred moment that had absolutely nothing to do with the words that came out of my mouth. It was a healing moment, despite the fact that nothing in Carol's body could be healed. There were no words that I could say that would fix anything about that terrible situation, but there was a healing power in simply being present together around that bed. There was power in those clasped hands and the promise that there would be companions on the road to healing. As we begin our exploration of healing together this month, this is one of the moments that sticks out in my mind when I think about what it means to be a community of healing. Even though there was nothing in that moment that could be fixed or cured. We Unitarian Universalists tend to be fixers. We believe that what we do in this life matters. We believe that we can and we must make a difference. And there are times when this trait is incredibly useful to us. It is, after all, the basis of all of our social justice work. But there are also times when this fixing tendency can get in the way. There are times when we are actually really powerless to change a particular situation. In the case of Carol's family, there was no cure. There was no way they could bring Carol back to them. If I had come in and done anything to try to fix the situation, not only would I have said or done something stupid, I would have gotten in the way of what they needed to begin the long healing process. What they needed was not someone who thought that they could come in and be a miracle worker, but simply someone who could offer a solid and loving presence in the midst of their pain. Theologically, Unitarian Universalism doesn't offer us much to cling to when times get tough. Most of us don't put much stock in magic or miracles. We don't turn to particular songs or prayers. We generally don't believe that things happen for a reason. We don't even have the promise of a more beautiful afterlife. We live in the here and now, and sometimes the here and now gets rough. Sometimes, often perhaps, the here and now doesn't live up to our aspirations. Sometimes the here and now is filled with pain and sorrow. Sometimes the here and now is quite literally a living hell. So what do we do in these stormy times? Where do we turn to? What do we cling to? It's here that some will say Unitarian Universalism falls short, that indeed we do not offer enough comfort and hope to get one through when tragedy strikes. Now, if that were true, I think I would have left this faith long ago. But in my experience, what we offer to those in grief and pain, those in the midst of tragedy, is actually much more powerful and healing than some of the platitudes you hear about everything happening for a reason or your loved one being in a better place. What we offer in these moments is nothing more and nothing less than ourselves. In the midst of tragedy, in the midst of pain, we reach out a hand and say, "This may be hell on earth, but I am here to walk with you through whatever comes our way." This is the promise we make to one another when we enter into this covenantal community. Whatever happens, we will get through it together. All we have is each other. As corny as that sounds, our faith is grounded in the idea that when the going gets tough, it's our connections to one another that will keep us afloat. We may not be able to fix or cure one another, but we offer healing through our very presence. As Teresa Novak writes, we are saved and we save one another. Again, again, and yet again. This was demonstrated in a profound way at the Provincetown Meeting House in the early days of AIDS. Reverend Kim Crawford Harvey arrived there as a new minister in 1985 at a time when there was very little knowledge of and no treatment for AIDS. When the first member of the congregation died from AIDS, Reverend Kim remembers feeling like they were on the brink of something terrible. She says it was like having the feeling that a titanic shipwreck of dimensions that were really inconceivable was happening, and that the first victim had just washed ashore. So we braced ourselves, she says, and we didn't even know what we were bracing ourselves for. The Provincetown Meeting House over the next few years became a center of support for folks with AIDS at that time, partnering with the Provincetown AIDS Support Group. They had a couple of apartments that they rented, and people cycled in and out of as they became too ill to live alone and then died. They held healing circles in the middle of the week to give people a chance to be together, and had men actually lying on pallets in the front of the church on Sunday mornings so that they could be with the community, despite being too weak to sit up. At that time, there was no getting better from AIDS. A diagnosis was a death sentence. So all that the congregation could do was hold one another in their pain, offer support and love, and help people live as fully as they could to the end and die well. Being a community of healing is not about fixing or curing. Instead, it's about being present with one another in the midst of the brokenness. This is what the folks at the Providence Meeting House learned in those early days of AIDS. As Reverend Kim described it, it was a time when healing didn't mean physical healing. We weren't really anticipating a time when that could happen. There was nothing. So it was really about loving yourself and forgiving yourself and loving others and just dying peaceful. There was no curing these men, as she said, but the people of the Provincetown Meeting House offered healing by accompanying them through their final days, by making space for these men to die well, surrounded by a community they loved. And they offered healing to the survivors by banding together in their grief, making space for mourning, but also, and this Reverend Kim said was really important, also making space to remember what was good and beautiful about life and the world. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to be a community of healing. We are called to reach out our hands in love when disaster strikes. We are called to accompany one another through the long, slow process of grief. We are called to remind each other that we are not alone in our pain, that we have this whole community of faith standing beside us, ready to pick us up when we fall, hold our hand when we cry, and carry on our legacy when we leave this world. Now, this is no easy task. Like so much of what our faith demands of us, being a community of healing isn't easy. It means acknowledging that bad things do indeed happen. Sometimes it means not immediately turning to the bright and the sunny side of life. Sometimes it means being a silent companion when we wish, we long for something, anything that we could do to make it better. Being a community of healing means letting go of that need to fix and embracing our ability to accompany. Even if we can't find heaven, we'll walk through hell together, hand in hand, knowing that it is an easier road because we are not taking it alone. As Reverend Alicia Ford writes, I lift my eyes up to the hills, from where will help come? My help comes from love abundant. Our help comes from love abundant, from the love that holds us together and makes us a shelter to weather the storm. Our help comes from the love of the people who are sitting next to us at this very moment, even if you don't know them yet. Our help comes from the arms of this beloved community that will reach out to catch you when you fall and hold you when you cry. All we have is each other. May that be enough.